Okay, in this video we'll look at a brief introduction to the alkanols and look at some jam questions that can come from it. So the very first thing that you want to know about the alkanols is that alkanols, they are also called the alcohols. So another word for the alkanols is the alcohols. So alkanols, they are also called alcohols. Alkanols are also called alcohols. So what are alkanols? Alkanols, they are a group of organic compounds that contains a hydrogen functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom. So these are organic compounds that contains a hydroxyl functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom, and this hydroxyl functional group is written as OH. So organic compounds that contains a hydroxyl functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom, those compounds, they are known as alkanols. So what I mean by a hydroxyl functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom, a saturated carbon atom is a carbon atom that has 4 single bonds around it. So it is unsaturated when it has double bond or triple bond. It is saturated when it has only single bonds around it. So whenever a hydroxyl atom is attached to a saturated carbon atom, an alkanol is formed. So alkanols, they are organic compounds that contain a hydroxyl functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom, and this is the hydroxyl functional group being attached to a saturated carbon atom, a carbon atom with 4 single bonds around it. So having known this, the next thing you should know about the alkanols is that alkanols are derived from alkenes. So alkanols, they are derived from alkenes. So how are they derived from alkenes? They are derived from alkenes by the replacement of a hydrogen atom by an OH group. So let's take, for example, ethane, for example. Ethane is the second member in the alkene series, and it has 2 carbon atoms. So these are the 2 carbon atoms, and these carbon atoms, they are attached to hydrogen atoms. So hydrogen. This compound is ethane. So if I replace one of these hydrogen in this ethane by an OH group, an alkanol will be formed. So let's say I am replacing this hydrogen by the hydroxyl group, which is the OH group. This is no longer ethane, but this is now ethanol. So what happened here is that I replaced this E with OL. So this E is now replaced with OL. This is ethanol. So alkanols, they are derived from alkenes by the replacement of hydrogen atom by an OH group. Also, I can have methane. Methane is the first member in the alkene series, and it has just 1 carbon atom attached to 4 hydrogen atoms. So this is methane. So if I replace one of the hydrogen atom in this methane by OH group, This is no longer methane, sorry, this is methane. This is no longer methane, but it is now called methanol. So alkanols, they are derived from alkenes by the replacement of hydrogen atom by an OH group. So whenever hydrogen atom is replaced by an OH group in alkenes, what is formed is an alkanol. Okay, so having known these two important things, the next thing that you should know about the alkanols is about their general molecular formula. So the general molecular formula of alkanols is CnH2n plus 1 OH. This is the general molecular formula of alkanols. You can use this to get the molecular formula of any alkanol. So let's say we want to find out the molecular formula of pentanol, for instance. Pentanol. You should know that pentanol, as the word indicates, is derived from the alkene pentane. Remember I said that alkanols are derived from alkenes. They are gotten from alkenes when the hydrogen atom in the alkane is replaced by OH group. So they are gotten from pentane. And you know that pentane is the fifth member in the alkene series. So it has 5 carbon atoms. So as for the fact that it is the fifth member of the alkene series, that tells you that N is what? N is 5. So if I want to get the formula for pentanol, since I know that it is the fifth member, all the N here will now be 5. So my Cn now will be C5. Instead of me to write N, I will write 5. H2 bracket this N, which is 5, plus 1 OH. So this will now be C5 H. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 1 is 11, H11 OH. So this is the formula for pentanol. So the general molecular formula of the alkanol, this is very important, is CnH2n plus 1 OH. This is something that you must know. The general molecular formula of the alkanols is CnH2n plus 1 OH. The general molecular formula of the alkanol is CnH2n plus 1 OH. It's very important. Then the last thing that I would want you to know here about the alkanols is that they have the ability to form hydrogen bonds. Very important. Hydrogen bonds. They have the ability to form hydrogen bonds, and this is very important. This is very important. The ability to form hydrogen bonds with molecules of other substance or with their own molecules is what makes them to be soluble in water. So I can ask you the question that why are alkanols soluble in water? They are soluble in water because they have the ability to form hydrogen bonds with water. They are soluble in water because they have the ability to form hydrogen bonds. So this is very important. Another reason why these hydrogen bonds is important in alkanols is that it is the hydrogen bond that is also responsible for their high boiling point. So alkanols, they generally have high boiling points. And the reason for this is because of the fact that they can form hydrogen bonds. So this is very important. If I ask you, why are alkanols soluble in water? They are soluble in water because they are capable of forming hydrogen bonds. Why do alkanols have high boiling points? They have high boiling points because of the hydrogen bond present in them. So this is very important. So this is all you need to know about the introduction to alkanols, as long as your O-level exam is concerned. So just a quick recap. I said that alkanols, they are also called alcohols. Another name for the word alkanols are alcohols, or they are referred to as alcohols. And alkanols, they are a group of organic compounds. They are organic compounds that contain a hydrogen functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom. And I've showed you a saturated carbon atom here. A saturated carbon atom is a carbon atom that has 4 single bonds around it. So when a hydrogen group is attached to a saturated carbon atom, as you are seeing here, that compound is known as an alkanol or alcohol. So alkanols, they are a group of organic compounds that contain a hydrogen functional group attached to a saturated carbon atom. Then the next thing that we talked about was where they are gotten from. Alkanols, they are gotten from alkenes. They are derived from alkenes. And how are they derived from alkenes? They are gotten from alkenes by replacement of the hydrogen atom by an OH group. And I've explained that before, illustrated it with ethane and methane. And the third thing you should know here is that the general molecular formula is CnH2n plus 1 OH. This is very important. So just cram this: CnH2n plus 1 OH. This is their general molecular formula. You can use it to get the formula of any alkanol. Then the last thing that is here is that they have the ability to form hydrogen bonds, and this is what makes them to be soluble in water, and this is what makes them to have high boiling point. So this is very important. So let's look at some JAM questions. This is a JAM question from the year 2006. So the question is, alkanols have the general molecular formula ACnH2n minus 2BCnH2n plus 1CHO CnH2n minus 2OH, then DCnH2n plus 1OH. So from what we've discussed before, the general molecular formula of the alkanol is CnH2n plus 1OH. So the correct answer to this question is option D, CnH2n plus 1OH. Very important. Let's look at another question. Which of the following is the functional group of alkanols? So what makes a compound an alkanol? What is the functional group of alkanol? So like I've said before, alkanols, they are a group of organic compounds that contains a hydroxyl functional group, the OH group, attached to a saturated carbon atom. So this is the functional group of alkanols. So A, you have CHO, B, you have COO, C, you have OH, then D, you have HOO. So the correct answer to this question is option C, which is OH. What makes a compound an alkanol is the presence of the OH functional group being attached to a saturated carbon atom. A saturated carbon atom is a carbon atom that has 4 single bonds around it. So with this, we are done with the introduction to the alkanols. Please like, comment, and very important, share the video with your friends that are writing their O-level exams.